7th, 2020 Property and Finance Committee meeting order at 4:45 p.m. First thing I'm going to do, we'll go around the room and introduce ourselves for viewing audience at home, starting with you.
Shane Blazer, member of Finance.
Want to introduce yourself just for...
Charlie Holsworth, purchaser of the Hotel Mead.
Paul Lawler, Public Works Superintendent.
Scott Kellogg, Alderperson.
Cindy
Tom
Schlichting.
Rarenforth, District Alderperson.
Sorry, Tom. Cindy Schlichting, Finance.
Jay Catnock, committee member.
Steve Both, Chairman. All right, first thing I would like to ask the committee to do is if we could by unanimous consent move items number 8 and 9 up for our superintendent and street department. All in favor of doing so? Say
Yes.
aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, so we'll take these items separate since they're two different vehicles. Item number 8 is review and approve proposals to purchase 1-ton pickup trucks. Paul?
Okay, so you should all have the handouts or at least have it electronically. Prior, the second week of December, we sent out requests from 6 local vendors, Rapids Ford, Johnson Jeep Eagle, Wheelers, Cafidi Truck in Stevens Point, and B&H of Marshfield, and Fred Mueller of Wausau. Of that, we had 2 people could return complete bids, and then 1 person returned a partial bid on these trucks. What this is these are going to, or this is going to replace a 1997 truck, and then also a 2003. The 1997 has been serving the last few years as a chipper truck, and it had some structural problems, and so we actually took it out of service a few months ago already, and put a different one in there, but we have to fill the hole that we made in the fleet or whatever. And then, so the lowest bid was Johnson Jeep Eagle, local vendor. It's the first time that they've given us proposals in a while or whatever, so it was good to see that. So we'd be, the recommendation is to purchase the crew cab pickup truck from them, and then also a regular cab. When we requested proposals, we requested an option to purchase it as a 4-wheel drive truck instead of the 2-wheel drive, and we're choosing not to, to exercise that option or whatever, so we're just going to buy 2 trucks as 2-wheel drive pickup trucks then, for that total of $87,276.
Is this coming from the equipment replacement
Yes,
fund?
yes it will, sorry.
And then Public Works would still need to approve this as well then, or anything with them?
No, it's just the finance.
Just the finance
Yep.
portion of it? Right. Does anyone else here have any questions for Paul? Hearing no further questions, I'd make a motion to accept the bid of $87,276 for the 1-ton pickup truck from Johnson and Jeep Eagle of Wisconsin Rapids.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
I don't know, Steve, if you just need to amend your motion, it's actually 2 trucks.
Oh, I'm
It's
sorry.
1 crew cab and 1 regular cab truck.
I'll amend the motion for 1 crew cab and 1 regular cab truck. You still comfortable?
You
Are
second
you
it.
still comfortable with your second?
Yes.
All right. We have motion and second. Is there any other further discussion? Hearing none, committee will vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 9 is to review and approve proposals to purchase 1/2-ton pickup trucks.
Okay, so this is kind of the same thing. What we've done here is kind of evaluated our fleet, and so we have some vehicles that are within our fleet that are 8 years old that only have 25,000 miles on it. And we also So we're gonna take those vehicles and move them into areas that they would get more use, so that, you know, the motors and transmission and things like that are being used to their extent instead of the body rusting off of them, and we have a vehicle that has very few miles or whatever. So what's going to happen is the code enforcement has a, I believe it's a 1999 Ford Explorer that used to be a police vehicle, that the front end is just out of it, and it's got like 180,000 miles on it. That vehicle is served its life expectancy or whatever without sticking any miles into it. But the engineering department has a vehicle that is 8 years old that only has 25,000 miles on it. So we're going to take that vehicle, give it to code enforcement, and then take a vehicle from wastewater treatment plant that's 4 years old with, I think it's like 56,000 miles on it, and give that to the engineering department. So we're kind of moving things around. So by doing that, we create these voids then where we have to fill these with half-ton pickup trucks that the superintendent of wastewater, and then on the other vehicle is the street supervisor's truck has got 70,000 miles on it, and it's 6 years old. That's going to go back into our public works fleet to fill one of the needs there that was vacated earlier in the year or whatever. So, and then the other vehicle is mine. The truck that I currently drive is 3 years old with 30,000 miles on it. That's going to replace the second 12-year-old one-ton crew cab that is needing to be replaced also. So by doing that, hopefully the vehicle will be shot all at the same time instead of having the body shot and the motor components and everything like that still in good shape, instead of just sticking it to where its original purchase place was or whatever. So that's also the reason why we're looking at purchasing some crew cab pickups instead of just regular cab trucks, because the engineering department also has the minivan that they use for transporting people to training and stuff like that. So the intent is that the superintendents would drive these for 5 or 6 years, put 50,000 miles on them, 60,000 miles on them, and then they would become, you know, kind of the mode of transportation for people in the engineering department, you know, because you can't get 6 people into that minivan anymore. So most of the time you take it, it's just for 4 people. So if you purchase a crew cab, extended cab, you know, you'll be able to extend the life of that and get use out of it or whatever. So.
Any questions for Paul?
Go. So I didn't even tell you what I did. So with this, same thing, we sent out the proposals to Rapids Ford, Johnson Jeep Eagle, Wheelers of Rapids, Cafidi of Stevens Point, B&H of Marshfield, and Fred Mueller of Wausau. You'll see in your bid tab there that we got 4 complete proposals back, with Wheelers of Wisconsin Rapids being the low bidder by just over $600 of Johnson Jeep Eagle. So it's our recommendation to purchase the 3 trucks from Wheelers of Wisconsin Rapids. This is being funded partially out of the 30,000. One of the vehicles will be funded through the wastewater treatment plant, and then the other 2 vehicles will be funded through the equipment replacement fund.
Any questions for Paul?
Are these vehicles we're buying, they're all brand new?
Yes.
Okay. And we're decommissioning 3 and then adding 3 as we're
Yep.
ready to go?
Yep. There's no net gain or anything like that. So.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of 2 crew cab pickups and 1 pickup extended cab from Wheelers of Wisconsin Rapids for $88,126.50.
I'll second. We have motion and second. Is there any further discussion?
I was just glad to see that the 2 local bidders each got a purchase of a vehicle from us, or vehicles from us.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, committee will vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries.
Thank you for making me just.
No problem. That brings us back to item number 2, which is review and consider approval of the 2020 Mass Transit Operating Capital Grant Application and Budget Request. Cindy, are we going to you to start this one?
Oh, yeah, I guess we are. Basically, it's the same thing. We had a RFP last year with River City Cab, and basically that was for a contract that extended in through this year. Same hourly rate, $23.49 that we did for last year. So there isn't a whole lot of changes or anything. We did apply for an extra cab this year in the summertime because there was some extra funding that came up from the federal government. I haven't heard yet if we're going to get it. On the grant this year, we applied for 3 cabs, hoping to maybe get 1. So with any luck, maybe we'll get 2 this year. I doubt it. We did have 2 of them go out of commission in the summer and another one this fall. We picked up one at auction that was a really good deal with like 45,000 miles on it, in very, very good shape. But it was a little older, but it was awesome, and we only paid like $3,400 for it. So we lucked out there because we don't have any spares left. So you think with the other cab companies that have come into the area that we'd slow down a lot, but we haven't. So even with, you know, the hours that we don't do the evening hours or the late night hours or anything like that, and still our crew is really running hard. So, you know, they still remain busy. The problem is, of course, we can't get drivers. We're still running into a hard time getting drivers, just like any of the smaller businesses. It's hard to get employees because you can't give benefits and stuff. So it's real hard, you know, it's hard to retain them. But, so that's it, basically. It's the same thing. I put in there what the local share is going to be, and even for the taxi cabs that we hopefully will be purchasing, there's money left over from our other years that we can use for it, so there won't be a lot coming out of the city budget. So.
Go ahead.
So River City Cab is a separate entity of the city, correct? So we're giving them vehicles that we're purchasing them?
River City Cab isn't an entity of the city at all.
Okay.
We go out for bids and we hire other cab companies, put in a bid to work for us.
Right.
Under the auspices of the city, and then we paid them to work for us. through our
Right, yeah, no, I understand.
program.
It just mentioned that we, replacement of taxis that we purchased 2 taxi vans. So are we purchasing the vans, or city property, and then we lease them to them?
We lease them to
Okay,
them.
all right.
And the deal is then they insure them and everything else. But yeah, they lease them from us for $1 a year. And then they take care of them mechanically, they take care of them all that way, they insure them, you know, and so basically they're their responsibility, and Jim does a very good job of it. Very good. So, yeah.
Go ahead, Scott.
How much do we pay for the drivers? So if anybody's watching tonight, they may know somebody that would like to apply. How much do we?
You know, I don't even know what his rate is this year, to be honest. But you know what, I'll find out.
Okay,
And,
they
you know,
could
maybe
call
that's
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and maybe that's something we should find out and put out there, and
Yeah, it
Let
could be on
people
our
know more.
website so people could, they may not know that we have those openings. There might be
yeah.
some-
And he has a nice new location now on 8th Street instead of back in the industrial park. And so, you know, that's been a good thing too, because it gives people, it gives the cab drivers more access to get out to where they need to be sooner and everything too. And it gives them more space. You know, the cars can stay in a more climate control environment and everything too, and that's always nice.
Where are
So
they now?
They're down by, I think it used to be a car dealership years ago, and now I think there's also a medical supply in front by
Oh,
them.
Motors on Ross and Kickers building?
I think, yes,
Gotcha.
yes. And so they've got a really nice shop in there now, and they have a nice place to store some inventory and everything, so it's really nice. So basically, I just need a motion to approve the grants as we've done in the past. I did not put an ad in the newspaper or anything or notice because we didn't have to take out a big enough grant or anything for anything out of the budget, you know, for the capital grants. So that's why I didn't put a notice in the newspaper, because by law you don't have to if you're not taking out a big enough loan per se for the grants, because that's coming out of our residual funds. So that's why you didn't see a notice in the newspaper, okay?
Jake?
Yeah, so this is definitely a needed service in,
Oh,
in
yeah.
this city, especially with our senior population. One thing I'd like to see over time, and this will take a while, I'm assuming, I'd like to see this mostly go completely private. I mean, we're buying vans at least to a private company that we gave an RFP for $1. You know, I'd just like to see it all privatized, and whether that's an Uber that comes to the city someday or a different company. And I was here last year when we approved the RFP, and there was only, I think, 2 or 3 submissions. But I mean, I'd like to see us move in that direction versus, you know, having to supply them with vans, and because they're making money here too. So, but yeah, it is a needed service, and this is the best option right now. I will make a motion to approve the 2020 Mass Transit Operating Capital Grant Application and Budget Request.
I'll second. Is there any other further discussion? Hearing none, committee will vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 3 is consider a request from the Finance Department to purchase a folder/insert machine. And we will go to Cindy for that one.
Okay. I don't know if anybody's been by our finance area and seen the big whopping machine in the back end. We inherited it probably 7 years ago from Water and Light, and my second year here, I think it was, that I finally got it working so we could fold and stuff. It was phenomenal, and it made everything so much easier when we were doing payroll or invoices, and for the taxes, it was great. But then it died again, and so we fixed it, and we stuck about $3,000 or $4,000 in it. And then it died again on us. And so we decided that we probably better not stick that much into it again. You know, you gotta stop throwing money away. So we did have a small manual folder, and we were using that to do our inserts this year to go into the tax bills. But when you're doing 8,000 of them, it kind of does get a little hard. We did use ODC to stuff the envelopes for us this year. As long as I made the copies and folded them, then they stuffed them for us, and that saved us a little time. But still, you know, that's kind of costly too. We have been checking out the folders for a couple years, and then we put it on the back burner and think, no, you know, we can get through with the little one, we can do this, we can muddle through. But the more we thought about it, you know, we do need one. Other departments would use it for their notices, for the assessments in the assessor's office, for their personal properties, for notices for the municipal court. There's a lot of areas that would use it. Granted, we are not going to be buying one of the big ones that is 5,000 pounds like is up there now. We did check out a couple of them, and we found 2 that would meet our needs and would be great. So we put in a request for one that actually is feasible for us to get and is not really, really expensive. And we got a better deal than when we were actually looking at them last year. So I guess it was a good thing we waited. So we would like to get the one that's from Neopost. It's locally serviced, locally sold, and it's out of Stevens Point, I think, or Wausau, one of them, and it's from, who's the vendor?
Office Enterprises.
Yes, that's the one. And I think they just took over the Neopost one because a couple of them merged. So But anyway, the machine is very, very nice. It can fold, it can stuff, seal, it can do a lot of things that we need. So I'm asking for the machine so that we can actually do our own taxes next year and save ourselves a little bit of money that way. And
You mentioned this year we have to go to ODC,
we did last year too, because it died on us last year too.
and what was the cost to go to ODC approximately?
1,700. And that was with us actually doing some of the folding and copying here.
So even with this Neil Post where it says $1,300 per year, that's already automatically a $400 a year savings.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
have that.
Mhm.
Any questions?
It says it's gonna be financed on the 2020 budget. Did you guys have a specific line item in there, or
Yeah,
how, where the,
I think Tim did provide for it in the budget in the expenses for the office expenses for the city.
If I'm not mistaken, it was replacement accounts. I
Was
think
it?
it was
Oh.
Yeah.
annual replacement for equipment.
recall that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good, thank you.
And he's unfortunately went home ill today, so he couldn't be here. So if you're wondering
Sounds
why
like-
Tim's not, he didn't
Yeah.
blow out tonight. And
Yeah.
he does sign cover reason.
Does anyone else have any questions for Cindy?
I can make a motion to approve, request to purchase the Neil Post machine for $8,427 with the addition of $1,300 per year beginning the second year for maintenance.
I'll second that. We have a motion and second. Is there any other further discussion?
Just one quick question. I'm still in favor, but is the 1,300, does that change year to year? Did you guys get any information on that, or is that?
I asked, and it might, go up a little bit year to year, but usually they're pretty consistent with the maintenance on them. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carried. Item number 4 is consider a temporary Class B beer license for the Central Wisconsin Cultural Center located at 320 West Grand Avenue, Suite. Yep, it is. You guys want to take a look at this? But it is located at 320 West Grand Avenue, Suite 104 for a art exhibit open to be held January 16th from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. When I got that from the clerk, there was no outstanding issues identified with them having this license. I'd make a motion to approve the temporary Class B beer license for the Central Wisconsin Cultural Center Incorporated located at 320 West Grand Avenue, Suite 104 for their art exhibit open to be held January 16th from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Second.
Right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other further discussion on this item? Hearing none, committee will vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 5 is consider a request from Wisconsin Apple LLC doing business as Applebee's, Kent D. Billingsley, agent, for a Class B beer and a Class B liquor license for the premises located at 4311 8th Street South. I'd also talked with the city clerk on this one, and this is basically Applebee's has changed owners, and it's just allowing the new owner to get a license. I'll fold it there, Jake. Here it is. It's just allowing the license to carry over to the new owner, and there was no issues identified with that.
Well,
I looked at it already. All right. I will make a motion to approve the Class B beer and Class B liquor license for Wisconsin Apple LLC doing business as Applebee's, Kent D. Billingsley, agent, for the premises located at 4311 8th Street South.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other further discussion on this item? Hearing none, committee will vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 6 is consider a request from the Founders Collection to LLC doing business as the Hotel Mead, Timothy Howlsworth agent for a Class B beer and Class B liquor license for the premises located at 451 East Grand Avenue. Tim is not here tonight, but we do have Charles, who's going to be the one of the new owners of the mead. If anyone would have any questions for him, or do you want to talk a little bit about what you told me so far about you guys taking it over?
Sure. Charlie, excuse me, my name's Charlie. Tim is my dad. He's going to be retiring and coming over and helping us run the F&B at the hotel. But I'm my business partner and I are Upers. We're from the Marquette area, and we have an investor out of Minnesota. But we'll be here, part of the community, at least 2 out of 3 weeks. So we'll be here a lot. You'll probably get tired of seeing us. But the mead's a really exciting project for us. It's a great hotel. It's beautiful. It's got a lot of cool amenities. And the big thing for us is that it's kind of the heart, it's been at the heart of the community for a long time. And the Founders Collection is what we name our hotels, because we try to find hotels that are that way, because we want to go in and be a part of the communities where we're doing business. And so when we can find it like an iconic property and get the chance to buy it like this, it's pretty exciting for us. So I'm 39, my partner's 35. We have a 20-year agreement where neither of us can get out. So we'll be here for a while, and I guess looking forward to get to know all of you and the rest of Rapids here. It's a really cool town. We got to spend some time with Zach, and he's explained some things about where the community is going, and it's pretty exciting. So I'm born and raised in Marquette, which is about the same size as here, so a lot of similarities with the water and the type of people and the Midwestern values. So we're excited to be here.
Go ahead, Jake.
What are your plans for the mead? Do you plan to change anything, or do you plan to make renovations? What's the near future look like?
That's a good question. So yeah, we've got some, we asked the bank for some financing on some renovations. We talked to Zach a little bit about what's available in terms of the exterior facade, and for that we'd want to involve the community because it is such an iconic property. Before we go, making any changes, we want to get input from the community. On the inside, they've done a lot of updates, and so we're going to just continue making some of those updates that they've done, the lobby space, and we're trying to create a little bit more cohesion to the new Grand Avenue that you guys just finished up, which is beautiful, and eliminate some of the separation between the hotel and Grand Avenue there. And so the restaurant, we're going to go just kind of leave some of the stuff that's always been, because we found that a lot of the community members have a lot of favorites. I met a guy last week when I was down here. He's Jim Saylor. He's gone into the mead, like every year for the last 50 years. He's there with a buddy, and he's telling, this is my staple. If you're buying it, and he didn't know we were buying it. He said, if you're buying this place, don't change it. So there's some of those staples, but we're going to try to bring in some newer items, some maybe that aren't in the market right now. We don't want to compete with any of the existing businesses. We feel like there's a good niche for us to come in and fill that's not there right now. And then like the bar, we're going to create kind of a speakeasy concept. We're not like, we don't want to see people come in and get hammered and then stumble home. So we're going to create a speakeasy that's more geared toward creating a sense of conversation and community for people that might not get it otherwise, with a quality aspect to it. So anyway, that's I guess our vision for. And then the hotel is great. It's 150 rooms. It does, as far as independent hotels goes, this one does as well as just about any in the upper Midwest. So it does really well. So we're excited to get in there. That's a good question.
Great. Welcome to the area.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Does anyone else have anything for Charles? I would I'd make a motion to approve the request from the Fowler's Collection 2 LLC doing business as the Hotel Mead for Timothy Halsworth, agent for a Class B beer and Class B liquor license for the premises located at 451 East Grand Avenue.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other further discussion? Hearing none, committee will vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It will go to full council 2 weeks from today, so Tuesday the 21st at
Excellent.
6 o'clock. So if you want to come back,
I'll be here, yeah.
it'll just be one room beyond.
Okay.
If any of the other council members would want to talk to you at that time,
Absolutely.
you'd be there.
That sounds great, I'll be there.
And welcome to
Thanks
Wisconsin
very
Rapids.
much, appreciate it, thanks.
Great. Item number 7 is review and consider approval for the proposed scope for fundraising development with the city's capital campaign. Zach, go to you.
This was just a follow-up from the last discussion at the December finance meeting, really at the referral of Alderperson Rayom. And I tried to capture the discussion, or the spirit of the discussion in the attachment in your packets. You know, maybe Alderperson Rayom wants to speak more to it, but this would be what I understand the spirit of the discussion.
Tom, do you have that paper, or?
Yeah, have you guys read the
I got
short
the-
synopsis that's there? I mean, that's
Is that what?
what I'm looking for, with the referral, I think. I don't know if anybody would have anything to add or ask about.
We're just looking at what was in the email, that would be the scope it right now.
That's, yeah, I just took a stab at whatever the discussion was that night and circulated it to Tom. And there could be a catch-all that the scope could change upon further discussion. Tim had indicated that financing source would be to come from the 2020 or 2019 pool operating budget. Ever since the closure of the pool, we've continued to retain that $75,000 in the budget. And so that's just accrued and we haven't spent that. So Tim proposed that would be the funding source if it was decided to proceed. You know, we certainly wouldn't need that much money.
Right.
It'd probably be a time and materials type engagement. If it's approved tonight, at least one firm has contacted me and said, hey, we're interested, just keep us in mind as the process proceeds. Given timing, it might make sense for us to seek those proposals and get them for the council meetings, just for time's sake.
Yeah.
We're already in January.
The one question I would have is, so we're trying to, I think the conversation that night was partially around looking at doing something similar to what the YMCA did. They had a firm go out and help fundraise. This just looks, they're gonna help us update, revise the plan, prepare documents, and help develop donor recognition. All the legwork be on city staff then, as far as, with this current scope?
I think in coordination with this person, I mean, we don't necessarily need them to be making the asks because of the relationships that have been fostered, I think, between the city and the potential donors, but it's more or less brushing up and refining the proposals and the packages that the businesses and industry would consider. So, yeah.
Is it possible to get a firm that would do the asks for us?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can put whatever we want in the scope. It's just
Right.
That was what I read, so you can, yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see a firm that would do the asks for us too. I don't know if that's what the Y had, but I think, I mean, it'd be great for a firm to come in and tell us, you know, what we need to revise, the plan, and make new documents for us and stuff, but then it still leaves the question of who's going out and delivering these documents, planning the meetings, asking for the funding. So I think if we're gonna go this far, we might as well take the next step and have someone who would also be willing to, you know, go out and have those meetings, you know, look for funding. What is everyone's thoughts on that? I mean, I don't, whatever that would cost, I think that would be worth it. Because there's a cost to, even if we get these documents, there's a cost to city staff going out and doing it anyway.
I don't know. I struggle with it because I think we're 3 years too late on asking for money. You know, we're already started the borrowing process, but I guess I'd be curious to see how much it would cost, because I guess even if they could raise $1 million, we're $1 million ahead, but yeah, I'd be kind of curious to see what the cost would be. But I think our mistake years ago was we should have did that. Like when the next thing after the concept of the pool was approved, we probably should have hired somebody to do that.
Yeah.
Because now we've already committed to borrowing, and we only have what, $1 million of what's that bonding called that we're doing?
The short term.
Yeah, the short term, which
Bond
is
anticipation, yeah.
900 some thousand. So we can, anything that we raise up to that point, we can pay off real quick. But any other money raised is not gonna. We can use that money to offset what the taxpayers have to put in, but we're still borrowing that money.
Right.
So we're not. I guess we'll be a little further ahead, but I'd be curious to see what that cost would be to have somebody do that.
Yeah, and that's why I'd like to see the scope. Just what's in this email is perfect, but expanded to whatever the wording would be to have them go out and do the fundraising for us. And that would be, again, just to see what proposals are. If they come back and they're crazy high, then obviously we don't go with it. But
Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, I think in that discussion years ago, they talked about fundraising, the next step after the concept, but the problem you had, that was discussed, I think, and I agree, is that people aren't going to donate money on a concept per se. They will now, when they see the buildings, they see the pool in, they see the naming rights, they see the concept into fruition, coming to light. Now I think is a good time to be able to get people to donate money as part of their corporation or individual or naming rights and things like that. So, but how do you do that? I think it would be interesting to see what it would cost to have people go out and ask for those donations now. But yeah, at the time it would have been better to get it once you get the concept, but the idea that people, they'll never come to fruition, and once the bulldozers were in and once the ground was taken, then I think it's more advantageous. So it's an interesting thing.
It worked for the Y.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but yeah, I'd be kind of curious to see what it would cost us.
Tom, do you have anything else? Or?
No, that's fine with me. I think add in what Jake said there to make that clear.
yeah, so I'm gonna take the excerpt from the email here and then just add on language in the motion.
No, go ahead, that's fine.
So I'll make a motion for the city to seek proposals to assist with fundraising strategy development for the Aquatic Recreation Center capital campaign, specifically to review and update the outreach plan, revise and prepare fundraising documents, and develop donor recognition within the facility. And add to that we, in the proposal, the firm that comes to us puts in there that they'll help us with the outreach, help us with the meetings, help us with the fundraising, not just the preparation and the documents for it. So that was a little wordy, but I don't really know how else to get it.
Hold on. I'll second that. We have a motion and second. Is there any other further discussion? Hearing none, committee will vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Items number 8 and 9 have been disposed of, which brings us to item number 10, which was the audit of the bills, which is in our packets, starting at page number, now my page number's one way here, but it's towards the end. Has everyone had a chance to look over those?
Yep.
Any discrepancies? All right, I will make a motion.
The numbers.
Ken usually gives us the check numbers.
Yeah, it's not on the invoice here.
I didn't bring them all down with me, but the first one starts at 1908.
So the first one started 1908, okay.
Mhm.
First one's 1908, the last one is
2269.
2269. I'll make a motion to approve checks numbers 1908 to 2269.
I'll second.
We have a motion and second. Is there any other further discussion? Hearing none, committee will vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Next item is beverage operator licenses, which were here. I talked to the clerk about that. There's none. Or
We've got them.
none were recommended, denied by the police chief. There's just a couple people that still have to take the responsible beverage course, which if that's still out, they don't get their license until that paper's turned in, and they'll have 60 days to turn in that paper, so it's not like anything with fines outstanding. So I would make a motion to approve the beverage operator licenses.
I'll second it.
A motion second. Is there any other further discussion? Hearing none, committee will vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 12 is to set our next meeting date, which will put us into February. And the first Tuesday in February will be the 4th. You guys want to go February 4th at 4:45?
Works for me.
All right. Our next meeting will be February 4th at 4:45. Item number 13 is adjournment. Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
A motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it, and we are adjourned at 5:27 PM.